For centuries, humanity had watched the stars with both wonder and caution. Through powerful telescopes and vast communication networks, they had witnessed the rise and fall of distant civilizations, locked in wars that tore entire star systems apart. Despite their curiosity, humans chose a different path, one of quiet neutrality. Earth was battered and weary from its own conflicts, natural disasters, and environmental challenges. The planet's leaders agreed it was better to stay out of galactic affairs, to rebuild what had been lost rather than chase wars that were not theirs to fight. Cities across Earth were bustling with the sounds of rebuilding. Where once there had been scars of conflict, new structures rose, symbols of hope, technology, and human ingenuity. Peace, fragile as it was, had settled like a soft blanket. People tended gardens on rooftops, explored new art forms, and looked up at the night sky without fear. Schools taught children about stars and planets, not as battlegrounds, but as mysteries to explore someday. Yet beneath this calm surface, divisions simmered. Some believed humanity's isolation was a mistake. Why hide beneath a veil of silence when the universe was filled with possibilities? Others argued that humanity's scars were too fresh, that meddling in alien conflicts could bring only ruin. Governments tread carefully, balancing diplomacy and defense, but without weapons that could rival those of starfaring civilizations. They hoped their neutrality would keep Earth safe. At the global summit, representatives from every nation gathered. In a transparent dome built over the ruins of old United Nations headquarters. The summit was a beacon of collaboration, an example of how far humanity had come. The most pressing topic, whether to increase Earth's defenses or continue avoiding the attention of alien powers. Dr. Lena Reyes, a leading astrophysicist, stood before the council. Her voice was calm but firm. The galaxy is changing. We detect fleets moving beyond the neighboring stars. These are not peaceful explorers. Their technologies and tactics suggest they are preparing for war. Ignoring this does not make us invisible. The room was silent, some faces reflecting worry, others disbelief. For decades, humanity had chosen to believe that their small blue world was too insignificant to attract such attention. But Dr. Ray's data was undeniable. The alien war, the one they'd only heard about in distant signals, was closing. Meanwhile, on the streets below the summit, life continued with its daily rhythms. Children played in parks, unaware of the potential storm gathering beyond the atmosphere. Markets buzzed with traders selling goods from all corners of Earth. A mosaic of cultures woven tightly together by peace. Commander Arjun Patel watched the news feeds from his command center. A quiet place lined with holographic displays showing orbital satellites and radar blips. He had spent years preparing for threats humanity hoped would never come. "We want no part in their wars," he muttered, recalling his conversations with diplomats who insisted on restraint. Yet, deep inside, he knew the world was not ready. The night sky was clear, stars twinkling with deceptive serenity. Across continents, people gazed upward, some with dreams of space travel, others with simple wonder. But none could imagine how. Quickly, everything was about to change. On a remote research station in Antarctica, Dr. Reyes and her team monitored incoming signals. Suddenly, a series of strong transmissions flooded their sensors. Alien ships had crossed the threshold of the solar system. The quiet watchers of the stars were no longer safe. Back on Earth, the news broke like a wave. Governments issued statements, urging calm but preparing for the worst. Social media erupted with speculation, fear, and hope. Humanity's fragile peace had been shattered, and the world was waking up to a new reality. As the sun rose over cities and oceans, the truth was clear. Earth's time of quiet had ended. The war in the stars was no longer a distant story. It was coming here. The vast silence of space was broken first by a shimmer on the edge of the solar system, something enormous moving with intent. For years, Earth's astronomers had tracked anomalies beyond the Kuiper Belt, but no one expected the sudden appearance of a colossal alien fleet. The ships were unlike anything humanity had imagined, sleek, dark, and humming with energy that radiated cold menace. At the International Space Observation Center, alarms blared as sensors registered the fleet's trajectory toward Earth. Commander Arjun Patel stood at the helm, eyes fixed on the glowing displays. "This isn't a scouting party," he said grimly. "They're coming in force." Across the world, news broadcasts struggled to keep pace with the developing crisis. Images of the alien ships flooded every screen, stirring shock and disbelief. The general public, long accustomed to stories of distant wars between unknown civilizations, suddenly faced the terrifying reality that those conflicts were headed straight for them in New York. United Nations Secretary-General Mara Kim addressed the world in a calm, steady voice. "We have no evidence yet of hostile intent, but we must prepare for all possibilities. This is a moment for unity and resilience. We will explore peaceful communication, but we must also ready our defenses." But peace, it seemed, was a fragile hope. The alien ships did not respond to Earth's attempts at contact. Instead, they deployed smaller vessels into Earth's orbit, conducting what appeared to be systematic scans and surveys. Satellite communications faltered under the intense energy fields, causing panic and confusion. Flights were grounded, internet outages rippled through cities, and emergency services struggled to maintain order. Scientists scrambled to analyze the technology of the invaders. Dr. Lena Reyes and her team worked around the clock, examining the ship's energy signatures and attempting to decipher their communication patterns. "They're not just observing," she warned. "This is reconnaissance for invasion." Behind the scenes, governments held emergency meetings. The desire to avoid conflict was strong, but the reality was undeniable. Earth was no longer an invisible bystander. The war raging between alien factions had spilled into their solar system, and humanity was caught in the crossfire. Amid the chaos, civilians reacted in myriad ways. Some fled cities, seeking refuge in rural areas or underground shelters. Others organized community watch groups determined to protect their neighborhoods from any threat. Social media became a lifeline, spreading news, advice, and sometimes fear. In a quiet suburb outside Tokyo, a teenager named Aiko watched the skies with binoculars. She had dreamed of exploring the stars, but now those stars seemed dangerous and unreachable. Her father, a former pilot, reassured her, "We've faced challenges before, and we'll face this one together." Meanwhile, in Moscow, a retired engineer named Dmitry began assembling a group of volunteers to aid local emergency responders. "We cannot wait for help from above," he said. "We must act with what we have." The alien fleet's commander, a being known only through intercepted signals as the Overseer, viewed Earth as a strategic prize. Their coalition sought to control key resources and star lanes, and Earth's position made it impossible to ignore. To the Overseer, humanity was a small, primitive species, unaware of the greater forces at play. Yet Earth's resilience and unpredictability would soon challenge those assumptions. As the fleet moved closer, humanity's leaders faced impossible decisions. Surrender could mean losing autonomy and freedom, but resistance risked total destruction. Behind closed doors, scientists, soldiers, and diplomats debated strategies that could either save or doom their world. In the quiet moments before dawn, Commander Patel stood on the observation deck, gazing up at the alien ships silhouetted against the stars. "We wanted no part in this war," he whispered, "but now it has come for us." Earth's fate hung in the balance, and the world held its breath. The day the message came, the world stopped. Every screen across the globe flickered to life with the same chilling broadcast, a holographic figure, imposing and unreadable, speaking in a language that Earth's experts had only just begun to decode. The alien commander, the overseer, delivered an ultimatum. "Surrender your world to the coalition," the figure declared, "and join us in the Great War. Refuse, and your planet will be destroyed." Governments scrambled to respond, but the message was clear and unyielding. The coalition had no interest in negotiation or diplomacy. Earth's fate was sealed unless humanity bent to their will. At the Global Command Center, leaders from every nation convened in an emergency session. The room buzzed with tension. Some advocated immediate surrender, hoping to save lives by avoiding conflict. Others refused, insisting that Earth's freedom was worth any cost. Secretary General Mara Kim stood at the head of the table. "We must show strength," she said. "If we give in now, we lose not only our planet, but our future. We must resist." Across the hall, Dr. Lena Reyes and her scientific team worked tirelessly to translate more of the coalition's communications. The technology they intercepted was brutal and efficient, designed for conquest and subjugation. "They don't negotiate," she warned. "Their war machines leave no survivors." The pressure to act mounted as the alien fleet positioned itself closer to Earth's surface. Satellite systems detected troop landings on the moon, an obvious staging ground for invasion. The coalition intended to control Earth's orbit before moving to the surface. Public opinion was fractured. Many feared the inevitability of defeat, while others rallied to defend their home. Volunteer militias formed overnight and makeshift. Training camps appeared around the world. Soldiers prepared weapons and armor hastily adapted for alien technology. Civilians learned emergency protocols as humanity braced itself for war. In the midst of this turmoil, Commander Arjun Patel was tasked with forming Earth's first unified defense fleet. Ships from former rival nations were refitted and integrated, crewed by teams who had never worked together before. Tensions ran high, but the threat demanded cooperation. "This isn't just about fighting," Patel told his officers. "It's about proving to ourselves and to them that Earth won't be taken without a fight." Meanwhile, the alien commanders' broadcasts grew more frequent, each one a grim reminder of the consequences of defiance. But with every transmission, Earth's resistance only grew stronger. The message was clear. Humanity would rather stand and fight than live as slaves. In a quiet laboratory beneath the Arctic ice, Dr. Reyes and her team made a breakthrough. Ancient alien technology hidden beneath Earth's crust for millennia aided to the coalition's energy signatures. It was a sign that Earth had a hidden advantage, something no one had anticipated. When she reported the discovery, hope flickered in the weary faces of the world's leaders. But unlocking this power would require courage, trust, and unity qualities humanity was still struggling to fully embrace. On the streets, people adapted to their new reality. Schools shifted focus from normal subjects to survival skills and scientific knowledge about the enemy. Communities supported each other, knowing that the coming battle would test the very limits of their spirit. In a small town in Brazil, a young engineer named Marcos volunteered to help modify civilian vehicles into armored transports. "If we fight, we fight together," he said. Eyes burning with determination, the days grew shorter as the alien fleet prepared its final assault. Messages from the coalition warned of devastation and annihilation, but humanity's resolve only hardened. Earth's leaders sent one last message in reply, not of submission, but of defiance. "We are human," the broadcast began. "We have survived plagues, wars, and disasters. We will survive this too. Earth will not fall." As the ultimatum deadline passed, the skies grew dark with alien warships. Earth's moment of truth had arrived. The war humanity never wanted. was now unavoidable. Commander Patel stood on the bridge of the flagship, ready for the battle that would decide the future of his world. They wanted no part in this war, he thought. But now, we fight for everything we hold dear. With the ultimatum ignored and the alien fleet looming closer, Earth's leaders faced the stark reality that conventional defenses alone would not be enough. The coalition ships were vast, their weapons devastating, and their technology far beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. But humanity had something the aliens didn't fully understand. Its history deep, mysterious, and filled with secrets buried beneath the surface in a remote underground research facility. Dr. Lena Reyes and her team worked frantically. Months earlier, during routine seismic scans, they had stumbled upon a cavernous complex hidden far below Earth's crust. What they discovered was astonishing. Relics and technology from an ancient, advanced civilization that predated human history. This isn't just archaeology, Lena explained to the gathered scientists and military advisors. It's technology possibly alien in origin that could be adapted for our defense. The facility was abuzz with excitement and tension. Among the artifacts were crystalline power sources that emitted energy fields unlike anything humanity had harnessed before. There were strange devices resembling communication arrays, weapons, and even star maps hinting at cosmic knowledge lost to time. But unlocking their potential required more than technology. It required humanity's ability to trust each other. For centuries, nations had competed, divided by language, culture, and history. Now, those old divisions had to be set aside. Commander Arjun Patel visited the facility in person. His presence inspired urgency. "We don't have the luxury of time," he said. "If we don't unite our efforts, Earth will be lost. We need every advantage we can find." Military and civilian engineers worked side by side, adapting the ancient power cores to modern weapon systems. Scientists decoded the strange star maps, hoping to find strategic insights. Cultural liaisons began working with indigenous communities whose legends might hold clues to the origins of the relics. Outside, the world prepared for war. Cities fortified themselves, underground bunkers filled with families seeking shelter, and emergency services practiced evacuations. Despite fear, there was a growing sense of purpose, a collective determination that Earth would not fall quietly in a small village in the Australian outback. A group of elders shared stories passed down through generations about sky gods who once walked the Earth. Their knowledge, dismissed for years as myth, now seemed connected to the discoveries beneath the planet's surface. Back in the lab, Dr. Reyes and her team made progress. A prototype device capable of disrupting the Coalition's communication networks was created, using the ancient technology as its core. If successful, it could blind the enemy and create openings for Earth's forces. However, challenges remained. The technology was delicate, requiring precise handling and unfamiliar materials. Training crews to operate these new systems took time a luxury Earth might not have. Meanwhile, tensions among Earth's unified command threatened to undermine progress. Old rivalries flared during strategic discussions, but Commander Patel's steady leadership kept the focus on survival. "We are stronger together," he reminded them. "Our differences have cost us before. Now, they must fuel us." In the streets, hope blossomed in unexpected ways. Volunteers from every background, scientists, farmers, artists, and engineers offered their skills to the defense effort. Workshops taught people how to maintain and operate the new technologies. Communities exchanged resources and knowledge. In a show of solidarity. Aiko, the teenager from Tokyo, joined a youth group trained in communications and emergency response. Inspired by her father's courage, she became a symbol of the younger generation's role in defending Earth, as Earth's defenses grew stronger. The alien fleet made its first move. Probes sent to test Earth's reaction were met with new resistance energy. Pulses from the ancient devices disrupted their systems, forcing retreats. It was a small victory, but it sent a powerful message. Humanity was not defenseless. At night, the skies above Earth were alive with preparations. Ships fitted with the ancient technology stood ready to challenge the invaders. Soldiers trained relentlessly, united by a cause bigger than any single nation. In a final briefing before the expected assault, Dr. Reyes looked around at the gathered leaders. "This technology is a gift from the past," she said. "It reminds us that Earth has always been more than just a planet. It's a home worth fighting for." Commander Patel nodded. They wanted no part in this war. But now, we have found our strength not just in weapons, but in each other. The calm before. The storm was ending. Earth's hidden strengths were awakening, and the battle for its future was about to begin. The sky above Earth's orbit was no longer a serene expanse of stars, it was a battleground. After weeks of tense preparation, the first true encounter between humanity's forces and the alien scouts erupted over the Pacific Ocean. The coalitions. Vanguard had deployed sleek, agile fighters fast and deadly probing Earth's defenses, testing the planet's resolve. Earth's newly formed defense fleet, a patchwork of vessels from once rival nations and repurposed civilian ships, met them head-on. Commander Arjun Patel stood on the bridge of the flagship Sentinel, his eyes fixed on the viewscreen where distant shapes shimmered against the void. "Hold formation," he commanded, voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Show them we're not easy prey." The battle was chaotic and fast. The coalition's fighters struck with precision, attempting to disable Earth's satellites and communication relays. But Earth's crews, fueled by desperation and hope, fought back with ingenuity. Ships equipped with the ancient technology emitted pulses that scrambled enemy sensors, turning their own weapons against them. Amid the chaos, a young pilot named Aiko, who had trained relentlessly since the arrival of the fleet, maneuvered her fighter through a hail of laser fire. Her hands moved with practiced skill, weaving through enemy formations to protect a damaged freighter carrying vital supplies. Her heart pounded not with fear, but with fierce determination. Elsewhere, ground crews coordinated relentless repairs and recharges, ensuring Earth's ships stayed in the fight. Civilians on Earth watched the conflict unfold through streaming feeds, their fear mingling with awe at humanity's resilience. The battle raged for hours, neither side willing to concede. The coalition's forces were stronger and more numerous, but Earth's fighters compensated with clever tactics. They used knowledge of orbital debris, gravity wells, and the remnants of old satellites to outmaneuver the enemy. The ancient technology provided bursts of power that stunned the invaders, creating openings for counterattacks. At a critical moment, Commander Patel ordered a bold strike. "Target the flagship," he said. "If we can disrupt their command, we have a chance." The Sentinel's fighters converged on the enemy flagship, dodging a storm of energy blasts. In a daring move, Aiko led a squadron through a narrow debris field, using the clutter as cover. Her squadron's coordinated attack hit the flagship's main communication array, causing a cascade of malfunctions. The enemy flagship faltered, and its fleet broke formation, retreating in confusion. It was a small but decisive victory, a message to the coalition that Earth was far from defenseless. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted, but tempered by the knowledge that this was only the beginning. Every victory came at a cost. Many ships were damaged or lost, and lives were forever changed. In the aftermath, Commander Patel addressed his crew and the world. "Today, we proved we can stand against the storm. Our fight is just starting, but we have shown them the spirit of humanity." Dr. Lena Reyes reflected on the battle's lessons. The ancient technology had been crucial, but it was human creativity and courage that turned the tide. "We adapted, we fought smarter, and we will continue to do so." Across continents, people took heart from the victory. Volunteers increased their efforts. Engineers refined the ancient tech, and new recruits flocked to training centers. Earth's unity deepened, fueled by the knowledge that their survival depended on it. In a quiet moment, Aiko looked up at the stars she once dreamed of exploring. They were no longer distant points of light. They were the front lines of a war. For Earth's future, she clenched her fists, ready for whatever came next. Meanwhile, the coalition's leaders reevaluated their approach. They had underestimated humanity's tenacity and the power hidden beneath the surface of this small, seemingly insignificant world. Plans shifted toward a larger assault, but the memory of their defeat lingered a warning that Earth would fight. Fiercely as night fell over the planet, the people of Earth prepared for what was to come. The first contact had been violent and costly, but it had also united them in ways no one could have imagined. Commander Patel stood once more on the Sentinel's bridge, gazing at the stars beyond. "They wanted no part in this war," he whispered. "But now, Earth is a battleground and we will not back down." The victory over the alien scouts sent a powerful ripple through Earth, but it also revealed a harsh truth. The war was far from over. The coalition would return, stronger and more prepared, intent on crushing the unexpected resistance. Earth's leaders gathered again, this time not just to discuss defense, but to face the challenge of forging a united front. For centuries, humanity had been divided by borders, languages, and histories. Now those walls had to come down. At the Global Command Center, the atmosphere was heavy. Delegates from every nation, many with long-standing rivalries, sat shoulder to shoulder. They argued, debated, and sometimes clashed. Grievances resurfaced, territorial disputes, political disagreements, cultural differences, but beneath it all was a shared understanding. Survival depended on unity. Secretary-General Mara Kim addressed the assembly. "We cannot fight this war as separate nations. Earth must become one. Our differences are our strength, but only if we stand together." To symbolize this unity, a new coalition government was formed, the Earth Defense Council. Its members were chosen not by nationality, but by skill, wisdom, and commitment to humanity's survival. The Council's mission was clear: to coordinate defense, share resources, and represent humanity as a single voice. Commander Arjun Patel was appointed chief strategist. His experience in the first contact battle had earned him respect across the globe. He knew the challenge wasn't just fighting the enemy, was keeping humanity united under the most desperate circumstances. Training camps and shipyards became hubs of cooperation. Soldiers, engineers, and scientists from different countries worked side by side, sharing knowledge and learning from one another. Language barriers were broken down with new technologies, and cultural exchanges blossomed even amid the tension of war. In an underground bunker beneath Paris, representatives from former rival military forces planned coordinated strikes against the coalition's forward bases. They combined tactics and technologies, blending the strengths of diverse approaches into a cohesive strategy. Across the world, ordinary people joined the effort. In Kenya, farmers and technicians collaborated to produce materials for the defense industry. In Canada, volunteers helped train new recruits in survival skills and first aid. Every corner of Earth contributed in its own way. Dr. Lena Reyes played a vital role in this unity. Her team's work with ancient technology became a symbol of hope, a reminder that Earth held secrets worth fighting for, and that humanity's past could guide its future. She led workshops teaching engineers and soldiers how to harness the power beneath their feet. Young people like Aiko found themselves at the heart of this new world. Trained as pilots, communicators, and technicians, they carried the weight of responsibility, but also the spark of hope. Their courage inspired older generations, who had lived through hardship and conflict, but now saw a chance for a better future. Yet, unity was not easy. Old prejudices sometimes flared. Differences in political agendas threatened cooperation. There were moments when mistrust threatened to unravel the fragile alliance, but each time, leaders reminded their people of the greater threat. One particularly tense meeting brought together representatives from nations with a history of conflict. Voices rose in anger and frustration. But Commander Patel's calm intervention reminded them, the enemy does not care about our past. If we divide now, we lose everything. Slowly, trust grew. Successes on the battlefield and breakthroughs in technology forged bonds that no treaty alone could create. The shared struggle became a powerful force, one that began to transcend old divisions in cities and villages. Walls that had once separated communities were painted with murals of unity and resistance. Music, art, and stories celebrated not just survival, but the strength found in coming together. The coalition fleet had not forgotten Earth's defiance. Intelligence reports showed preparations for a massive assault, aiming to crush humanity's resistance once and for all. But Earth was no longer a planet divided. It was a united front, ready to meet the storm. As night fell over the planet, the Earth Defense Council convened for their first joint strategy session. The room was filled with faces from every corner of the globe, united by a single purpose. Secretary General Kim spoke quietly but firmly. This is our moment. Together, we are stronger than any force that comes against us. Commander Patel looked out at the gathered leaders and soldiers. They came expecting an easy victory. They found a planet united in purpose, in courage, and in hope. Earth's people knew the battle ahead would be difficult. But as they prepared to face the coming war, they had already won something far greater, the power of unity. The days grew tense as Earth's united forces prepared for the inevitable. Intelligence reports warned that the coalition's massive assault fleet was approaching at unprecedented speed, intending to overwhelm Earth's defenses before the planet could fully mobilize. But Earth was no longer the unprepared world the coalition had once dismissed. With every passing hour, humanity's strength grew not only through technology and strategy, but through an unshakable will to survive. Commander Arjun Patel stood once again on the bridge of the Sentinel, flanked by officers from different nations. The room was alive with nervous energy and quiet determination. This will be the most critical battle in human history, Patel said. But we fight not just to survive, we fight to protect everything we are. The coalition fleet appeared. On the horizon, terrifying armada of colossal warships. Bristling with weapons, their black hulls shimmering coldly against the stars. They descended in formations designed to crush Earth's orbital defenses, sending smaller vessels to strike at key targets below. Earth's fleet launched in response. A dazzling array of ships coordinated by the Earth Defense Council. The air was electric with the hum of engines, the click of weapons charging, and the whispered prayers of those who knew the stakes. The battle began with a brutal exchange of fire. Energy blasts streaked through space, illuminating the void with flashes of deadly light. Coalition ships unleashed their devastating weapons, but Earth's fleet responded with precision and ingenuity. Ships equipped with ancient technology pulsed with energy, disrupting enemy systems and shielding their allies from destruction. Fighters, like ISOs, darted through the chaos, striking vulnerable points and guiding larger vessels. On the ground, a coalition of Earth's militaries coordinated with civilians to protect key cities and infrastructure. Emergency shelters were filled, and evacuation routes were secured. Every person played a part in the defense, despite their technological superiority. The coalition forces found themselves struggling against a foe that refused to break. Earth's unified command adapted quickly, learning from each attack and exploiting every weakness. As hours passed, the tide began to shift. Coalition ships suffered critical losses, their formations fracturing under relentless pressure. Earth's forces pressed their advantage, launching counterattacks that drove the invaders back from key orbital positions in a daring maneuver. Commander Patel ordered a squadron to strike at the Coalition's command ship. The plan was risky, but success would cripple the enemy's coordination and morale. Aiko volunteered to lead the squadron, her fighters slipping through enemy lines with the skill honed over months of training and battle. The assault was fierce lasers, and missiles streaked past her, but she pressed on. Driven by the thought of protecting her home, the squadron reached the command ship and unleashed a coordinated barrage. The ancient technology pulsing within their ships magnified the impact. Breaching the hull and disabling critical systems, chaos erupted aboard the command ship. Without central control, the Coalition fleet faltered. Ships turned back or fled. Into the depths of space, their attack broken. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted, but they were tempered by the knowledge that the war was not yet won. The Coalition might retreat, but they would return. Possibly in greater numbers, Secretary General Mara Kim addressed the world. Today, we stood together and defended our home. Our unity, courage, and resilience turned the tide. But we must remain vigilant. The fight for Earth continues. Dr. Lena Reyes's team studied the battle data, eager to improve their technology further. This victory shows what we can do when we combine the best of our past and present, she said, but the enemy will adapt too. In the streets, people cheered and embraced. Their fears momentarily eased. Communities celebrated their shared victory, strengthened by the knowledge that humanity's unity had made the difference. Aiko, exhausted but proud, returned to Earth's surface for the first time since the battle. Looking up at the stars, she whispered, "They wanted no part in this war, but now we've shown them that Earth will fight." Commander Patel prepared for what was next. The Coalition's retreat was not surrendered, was a chance to regroup. But Earth was ready. Together, humanity had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, their spirit could not be broken as night fell. The planet stood united, stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. The tide had turned, but the war for Earth was far from over. The sky over Earth was calm. But beneath that serene surface, a world transformed was awakening. The Coalition's retreat, marked more than a battlefield victory, it was a turning point. In humanity's story, after centuries of division, the people of Earth had come together to face an unimaginable threat. Their victory was proof not only of their resilience, but of their potential when united in the weeks following the battle. The Earth Defense Council focused on rebuilding and preparing. Their victory had bought precious time a chance to strengthen defenses, improve technologies, and deepen the bonds forged in war. Commander Arjun Patel walked among the bustling shipyards, watching as vessels once scattered across the globe were refitted and enhanced. Engineers from every nation worked side by side, sharing knowledge and ideas freely. The ancient technology discovered beneath the surface had become the foundation for a new era of innovation. "It's more than just weapons," Patel told a young engineer. "It's hope. The promise that we can protect what matters." Dr. Lena Reyes stood at the forefront of this scientific renaissance. Her team had unlocked new secrets from the ancient relics, learning how to harness energy in ways that could power entire cities or shield entire fleets. The technology was no longer a mystery, it was a beacon guiding humanity forward, in classrooms and training centers. Young people like Aiko studied alongside peers from every culture and background. They trained not just for war, but for leadership and cooperation, prepared to carry the legacy of unity into the future at the United Nations. Now restructured as the Earth Assembly, leaders met to discuss a new mission, one beyond survival. They envisioned a world where nations worked together to explore the stars, protect their planet, and ensure peace. Secretary General Mara Kim addressed the assembly with a hopeful smile. "We have faced the darkness and emerged stronger. The war taught us the cost of division and the power of unity. Let this be our guiding light." Across Earth's cities, the celebrations continued quiet but profound. Families reunited, communities rebuilt, and artists created works that captured the triumph and sacrifice of the past months. The world was forever changed, but it was also full of promise in a small park in Snow Paulo. Marcos, the engineer who had converted old vehicles into armored transports, watched children play, their laughter filling the air. He smiled, knowing the fight had been worth it. On a hill overlooking the Pacific, Aiko gazed at the stars, no longer with fear, but with determination. "We wanted no part in this war," she whispered, "but now we are ready to take our place." Among the stars, Commander Patel joined her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Earth has proven it can stand against any threat. Together, we will protect this home and build a future worth fighting for." The horizon glowed softly with the first light of dawn. It was more than the start of a new date, was the dawn of a new era for humanity. An era shaped by unity, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of a planet that refused to fall. And as Earth turned beneath that rising sun, one truth was clear. They had wanted no part in the war, but they had fought it as one. And that made all the difference.